Shalamti. Again I say, Al Shalamti. Tenestele. Namaste. Hotep. Greetings. Vigilant men, virtuous ladies, and learning students. My names are Dr. Richard Yates, the host of Bible Quiz. Thank you for joining us here on this television station, learning things mentioned in the Bible based on the King James Version. I've said before in this program that the Bible is not the only book that we will be given the opportunity to learn of and from. There are three major religions in Guyana. Those religions are Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam. Based on those three religions, there are religious books that help the members of the religions, of those religions, learn, including the leaders, whether it be imam or whether it be pastors, priests, or whether it be whoever represent that religion. I've mentioned before on this program that there are 5 major religions in the world. This day, whenever you're watching the program, whether this afternoon or evening, we are going to learn some of the previous questions asked on this program. Should minutes permit, we will hopefully give you the opportunity to answer several questions that were asked previously. For those folks who would like to participate in the program, you can, or those who would like to learn more of the Bible, you can call me directly. Numbers are 693-3388. 693-3388. That is, those numbers are given to Dr. Yates, so you can call me directly. As a matter of fact, the landline numbers are 218-4949, 218-4949, or 218-1890. You can call to answer the questions or to comment on what you're hearing here on this day. For those folks who have never seen the program, you've seen it for the first time, I would like to encourage you to get your Bible. Get pen and paper, get something to write. Because what's going to happen is that the callers are going to educate all of us based on scriptures in reference to the questions being asked. Previously, these are some of the questions that was asked in the program. As the question come up on the screen, you'll get a chance to read it. For example, the first question that was asked was, how many books are mentioned in the KJV Bible? How many books in the KJV Bible? The acronym KJV stands for King James Version of the Bible. There are many renditions of the Bible after the King James. It has been documented that the King James Version of the Bible came out in 1611, 1612. There are many renditions after the King James. I am much more comfortable with using the King James. Why? Because it is the most common, known, I like to pronounce my K in that word, known, people say known, version of the Bible. Prior to King James Version of the Bible, we had Wycliffe. Some people pronounce that Wycliffe. The Wycliffe Bible is prior to King James. And then you had the Tyndale Bible. You also had the Vulgate. You even had the Bishop Bible. And you have the Septuagint. There are many versions of the Bible prior to King James. However, due to the fact that the King James Version of the Bible, 1611, 1612, is more renowned than many other revised versions of the Bible, and most of them were done by Americans, like NIV, Schofield, the Jehovah's Witness. It's several different revised versions of the Bible. So we're going to stick to the KJV so that we all can be on the same page or pages of the KJV Bible. Question was, how many books are in the Bible? Do you remember what I said prior? I did give the answer. People did call also. Let's open the line and see who can call, be the first caller to tell us how many books are in the King James Version of the Bible, or how many books the King James Version of the Bible is comprised of. I'll give you a clue. The first book is titled Genesis. And the last book of the Old Testament of the Bible is Malachi. The first for the New Testament is Matthew. And the last of the New Testament is Revelation. So from Genesis to Revelation, let's go to the telephone and see who's on the line. They can answer this first Bible quiz question that was previously asked. Al Shalamti, greetings.
Good afternoon, Lord.
Yes, please.
66 books in the Bible.
66 books. Well, can you please tell us where you're at as you're calling? What part of Guyana?
Enmore.
Oh, are you Mr. Enmore?
That's right, that's right.
Mr. Enmore, we missed you previous Friday.
Yes, I had some other things to do that I couldn't really look at the program.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you so much for listening to the program. What about some of your friends? Anyone ask you or mention about the program? Did they question you? Did they say they heard you in the program?
I don't have many friends, only Jesus.
What about family members?
Yeah, they are right.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
involved.
Well, they're involved. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And you have yourself a pleasant Sabbath evening, Ralph.
You too. God
Thank
bless.
you. Stay blessed. Wonderful. 66 books from Genesis to Revelation. Folks, if you don't remember that, here is a good way to remember how many books are in the Bible. As you heard, Dr. Yates says member. And those books are, to remember the 66 books, the question normally being asked, what is known as the mark of the beast? What number is known as the mark of the beast? And most people would tell you 666. All you have to do is erase, eradicate, or omit one of the sixes, and you get 66 books that are in the Bible. Now, the second question that came up, okay? We did mention how many books are in the Bible. Now, this one is about the New Testament. How many books are, the Old Testament came before the New. So we must learn indeed how many books are in the Old Testament. Okay? Let's use on the telephone line and can answer that question. Okay? They got a little scared there. Maybe they knew about the New Testament, but let's see about the Old Testament. Al Shalamti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
North Rumfeld.
North Rumfeld. And the Old Testament. How many books are in the Old Testament?
29.
What did you say?
29.
29. How do you write 29?
29.
How do you write in the number 29?
2 and 9.
Ah, 2, 9. Thank you very much for coming through. Let's hear what other folks have to say. Thank you so much, okay? Wonderful. Great. Now, someone called and said 29, which is written 2-9, books in the Old Testament. If you have a different answer than that, you give us a call and let us hear what's on your mind, or what were you taught or told, how many books are in the Old Testament. Folks, for those folks who are listening to this program for the first time, not aware, that the Bible, the King James Version Bible, is being divided, is the word, into two sections. You have Old Testament and New Testament. Let's go to the telephone and hear what all the folks have to say. All right? Al Shalamti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
Enmore.
Mr. Enmore. Mr. Enmore, how many books are in the Old Testament?
39 books.
And how do you write that number?
39.
Yes, congratulations. That's right. Okay? All right. So the entire books of the Bible is how many?
66 books.
Okay, good. So how many books would be in the New Testament?
Minus 39 from 66.
And that would be how many?
Right.
Come on,
right.
come on, Mr. Enmore. You can do this. You're hot. You're on the trail.
39.
Uh-huh.
9.
Well, let's give someone else a chance to answer that one, all right? Wonderful. Mr. Enmore is on point. He's right. There are 3 9. I like the lady that called at first because she tried. And she says 2 9. She's not wrong. However, the answer is not correct, but she's not wrong. Okay? No one is wrong on this program because the Creator never made you wrong. Let's go to the telephone and hear who's out there. Al Shalamti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
Hatfield.
Where is that? Turn the TV down. Let's turn the TV down. Okay, folks. For those folks who may not be aware that once I go to the telephone and you hear my voice talking to you on your phone, you should already put your television on mute or turn it down. Let's go to the telephone and see who's there. Al Shalamti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
North Longville.
Okay, and your television is up, right? Okay, all right. Folks, there are rules here, all right? So, all you have to do is, once you make the telephone call and the phone is ringing, once you hear the phone ringing, just put your television on mute. Here we go. Al Shalamti, greetings. Thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
I'm Martin Lodge. I'm in Lodge.
You're in Lodge, yes. And how many books are in the New Testament of the King James Version of the Bible?
27.
Ah, and how do you write that number?
2 and 7.
You sure you write it 2 and 7 or 2 7?
2 7.
Thank you. Okay? All right. So, and listen, how long have you been watching the program?
I started today.
You started today? Your first time watcher?
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. Oh, well, we got to give you that.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
And listen, encourage folks to watch the program, right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Wonderful. Great. Yes. So we have six books in the entire Bible. We have 3:9 in the Old Testament and 2:7 in the New Testament. Let's see what's the other question we previously asked. See, this is the reason why I like doing preview, because we have new viewers of the program. What name, I like this one. What name the Creator called the first woman? The first woman mentioned in the Bible, what name the Creator called her? And Mr. Enmore, give somebody else a chance to answer this one, all right? We'll be appreciative because you're on top. You know what, Mr. Enmore, you asked the question, you answer the question, or attempt answering the ones we haven't asked before. All right? Wonderful. So, the telephone numbers are 218-4949 or 218-1890. You can call and give the answer to that question you see on the screen. That question is, what name the Creator called the first woman? What did the Creator call her by name? Let's go to the telephone and see who's on the line. Al Shalamti, where are you at as you're calling? Oh, they got scared. They got scared. Okay, you don't need to get scared or scared here, all right? There we go. Al Shalamti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
North Longville.
North Longville again. And what is the name that the Creator called the first woman? What name he gave her?
He gave her Eve.
He gave her Eve. Do you have a scripture to substantiate what you're saying? What part of the Bible can we read that?
Part of the Bible. In Genesis.
In Genesis. Okay, what chapter?
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6. And what verse is that?
I won't be able to tell you offhand.
Okay, let's hear what other folks will have to say. All right? Oh, okay?
Yes.
Okay, let's see what other people have to say. Thanks for calling. Wonderful. I like this. Al Shalamti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
Hello, good evening.
Good. Hi, good afternoon, good evening. You turn the television down or put it on mute so we can hear you instead of the TV. Are you watching the program for the first time?
Yes, I am.
Well, congratulations. And where do you reside? What were you calling?
I'm in New Amsterdam, but I'm in Georgetown today.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. You're the first New Amsterdam person calling on the program. And what part of Georgetown are you at?
I'm in West Longville.
West Rumveld. And the answer to the question is, what name the Creator gave the first woman? What he called her?
She was called Eve.
She was called Eve? Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, good. Let's see what other folks have to hear. And thank you for calling. Thank you for coming from New Amsterdam. And thank you for being Georgetown and listening to this program. And when you return to New Amsterdam, what are you going to tell the people?
You say hi to all of the guys here.
You can tell them there's a beautiful Bible quiz program on Safe TV 2 in Georgetown. And we need to get it in New Amsterdam. Right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, folks. So 2 people said Eve. Now, do you have a different answer out there, folks? Okay? Because if you're saying Eve, I'm trying to figure out, indeed, did it really said Eve in the Bible? Let's see what other folks have to say. Okay? Al Shalamti, where are you at as you're calling?
Lodge Hatfield.
No, Lodge Hatfield. And what name the Creator? Are you watching the program for the first time?
No, since it began.
Since it came on? Oh, you're regular. Wow, good. Well, what is your answer? What name the Creator called the first woman?
Adam.
You call her Adam? That sounds like a man's name. Well, interesting. Let's hear what other folks have to say, all right? But thank you for calling, okay? Great. Wow, interesting. Now, you see, this is important, folks, why we need to study the Bible to show ourselves approved. Workman need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. A lot of us carry the Bible in our hands to church on Sabbath, or on the first day of the week, it's called Sunday, or on the seventh day, which is known as the Sabbath. The question is, how well do we know this book? And we write in Genesis and creation story. Let's go to the phone and what other folks have to say, all right? The question is, what name the Creator called the first woman? And what do you think it was? Okay? Any other person? Any other name out there? All right. The lady that just called, she's correct. The Creator called her Adam. The answer is in Genesis chapter 5 and verse 2. Only if you are reading the King James Version. Folks, if you're reading any other version and it doesn't say Adam is her name, then obviously you're reading a watered down, mistranslated version of the King James. Let's stick to the original. The King James Version said exactly what the woman just said. She was also called Adam. If you don't have a King James Version of the Bible, Google it. Go original King James Version, Genesis chapter 5, verse 2. And you see that her name, the Creator, called her Adam. Great. Now, the other question that we asked previously, let's see if that one pops up on the screen. Wow, great. Look how that popped up. Oh, this was interesting. The words God, God, or God, right? Small g, the second one has capital G, and the third one has all capital letters. We asked, that was a nice question. Remember that question, all right? Okay? All right. It says, how many books of the KJV Bible, the words God, God, or God, are not mentioned, right? Yeah, I like that one. Okay? How many books of the Bible you wouldn't find the word God with small g, or God with a capital G and small o and small d, or God with all capital? In other words, all three of them pronounced the same way, but they're spelled differently. So how many books in the Bible you wouldn't find that word, I could say that word, in this case, those words, because it's spelled differently, in the Bible, okay? Where can't you, how many books in the Bible you wouldn't find the word God? Let me put it that way. How many books in the Bible you would not find the word God mentioned? Okay? That was the previous question we asked. Let's see, for the first viewers, first time you're watching the program, or you never saw that question before, what would be your take on that? Do you have any idea how many books in the Bible you wouldn't find the word God? Whether you spell it common G, or with a capital G, or all capital letters? And the phone, no one is calling to answer that. So I'll give you the answer. There's only one book in the Old Testament, not in the Bible. When we talk about Bible, we have to be talking about Old and New. So the answer would be 0. When you're talking about Bible. However, in the Old Testament, there's only one book in the Old Testament where the word God is not mentioned. Do you remember we asked that question before? Yes, that was one of the questions we asked before. Can anyone call and tell us what's the name of that book in which you wouldn't find the word God? I just give you the answer, that it is only one book in the Old Testament is not mentioned. What is the name of that book we wouldn't find the word God mentioned? For those folks who are listening to the program, let's see if you remember that. Let's go to the phone. Al Shalemti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
I'm Lodge.
Lodge again. Okay, and which book in the Old Testament you wouldn't find the word God?
Esther.
Yes, congratulations. That's right. Oh, you're the lady that called and said Adam?
Yes.
Well, let me clap you again. Congratulations. That's right. Esther, the book of Esther, we wouldn't find the word God mentioned in the Bible. Next question. Let's see what do we have there. The next question coming up on the screen concerning what we asked previously. What the first 5 books of the KJV Bible is called? You remember Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy are the first 5 books mentioned in the King James Version of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is the 5th book of the King James Version of the Bible. Those 5 books are giving 2 titles or names. Let's hear those 2 titles today. Let's go to the phone and hear folks going to say. All right? Al Shalamti, where are you at as you're calling?
Nigel. Not Rumsfeld.
North Rumsfeld. Are you watching the program for the first time?
No.
Oh, you're a regular watcher?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations to you. And what are the first 5 books of the Bible are called?
The Torah?
Yes, congratulations, the Torah. That's right. It is called the Torah. And who uses the Torah?
Who uses it? Pardon me?
No, don't use that word. Don't say pardon me. Are you a criminal?
No.
So why you want me to pardon you? What crime have you committed? You got a great sense of humor and you're learning something. Avoid using that word. That word came from the French language pardon, which a lot of criminals in France wanted the king to pardon for committing crimes. You don't have to say pardon me. Just say, what did you say? Or say it again, please. You haven't done any wrong. Why do I have to pardon you? You get it? So the question is, all right? All I'm simply trying to do for you right here in the program is give you a chance to answer the question based on what's been asked. And thank you so much for answering the question. Yes, folks, Dr. Yates don't use words like pardon me. I'm not a criminal. I don't need to be pardoned. I haven't committed any crime. I can always say, what did you say? Or say it again, please. Those are best words to say instead of using the word pardon me. All right? Great. So, the other question that we've asked indeed, right, the Torah. Oh, I mentioned there are 2 answers you can give. The first one is the Torah. I asked her who uses the Torah. Well, it is being known that the Jewish people, okay, people who call themselves Jewish people, uses the Torah, okay? And there are also Hebrew Israelites that also uses the Torah. So the Torah are the first 5 books known as the Bible. But it's commonly known around the world that the people who call themselves Jewish people, which is from Ukraine and Europe, okay, known as Jewish people, and you have them also in the United States of America, and also these Europeans went into the state of Israel, and now they have they established a place called the State of Israel. They also use the book, not all of them, but a lot of them use the book called the Torah, all right? Now, there's another name those 5 books are called. Do y'all remember that name? I don't think we mentioned it. Now, Mr. Enmo can call and try answering that question if he is aware of it. Besides the Torah, what other names the first 5 books of the Bible are called? The first 5 books of the Bible, there's another name besides Torah it is called. What would be the other name? Let's see who can call and answer that. Al-Shalamti, where are you at as you're calling?
Lodge.
Lodge again, wow. And what would be the other name for the first 5 books of the Bible? What's it called?
The Pentateuch.
Yes, you got it. Congratulations. Wow, you are hot. Are you a Bible student or scholar?
Yes, I am a Bible student.
Oh, you're a good student. Congratulations, yes. It's called the Pentateuch or Pentateuch. Some people say Pentateuch. Some people say Pentateuch. Right. Well said. That's true. The Torah or the Pentateuch or the Pentateuch. Right. Very good. Now, what will be the other question that we can see on the screen so that we can give you a chance to read the other question coming up? If there is another question coming up, I would like for you to prepare yourself for some of these questions. Oh, there we are. Yes. Where did Cain, the brother of Abel, not Abel, this letter A is pronounced A. Like Abel, you say Adam, you don't say Adam, right? So the name is Abel. Where did Cain, the brother of Abel, got his wife from? Where did he get his wife from? He got his wife from where? If you learn, remember listen to the program, or if you're familiar with the Bible story, you call and tell us where did Cain, the brother of Abel, remember? The first murderer, according to the Bible, was a man by the name of Cain. Where did he get his wife from? Where he got his wife from? Do you remember that? Well, surprisingly, no one is calling to give the answer. So I'll give it. Oh, there goes. Someone is calling. Al-Shalamti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
We married, sister.
Okay. Where are you at as you're calling?
Lodge.
Oh, the same lodge. Okay. And the question is, where did Cain get his wife from?
He married his sister.
No, I didn't ask you who he married. Okay? I didn't ask who he married. I asked you, the question is where. Where is talking about a location of place. See? I didn't ask who he married. I asked, where did he get his wife from? Okay? Did he get his wife in the Garden of Eden? Or from another place? All right? Great. So, since no... Oh, let's go to the phone and see who's going to try answering that. Al Shalemti, thanks for calling. Where are you at as you're calling?
And more. You
Yes.
had this question before and I answered it already.
Yes, you did. And I was trying to give other folks a chance, but apparently they are not answering, so you tell them what the answer is.
All right, from the land of Nod.
The land of Nod. What scripture is that? Do you remember the scripture that says that?
Yes.
Read it for us, please.
4
Genesis, chapter
verse
4.
16.
Okay, read it for us, please.
And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod,
Right.
on the east of Eden.
The eastern part of Eden. So it wasn't in Eden, it was east of Eden.
Eden, right?
That means it got to be outside of Eden, obviously.
Yes.
And that place was.
Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch.
So what? Okay, let me make it a little clear. What did it mean he knew his wife? She was there and he went and met her? What happened? She was living there?
Right. You know, husband and wife, they had intercourse.
Oh, interesting. So what you were saying is that when it's written in the King James Version of the Bible that Cain knew his wife, is not saying that he went there and met her.
No,
So the word knew is a coded word for sexual intercourse.
that's right.
You know what? That's making sense to me. I hope it's making sense to the other viewers.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, amen, my brother. So in other words, he met his wife in the land of Cain, leave one place and go. Someone else on the line. Let's see what they have to say. All right? And you can call and say, I'd like to give a contribution towards the program, or I'd like to sponsor the program, so it can be extended for an hour. Because when you do that, then we have more Bible quiz questions, and more people will be learning the Bible for the first time through a form of Bible quiz. Vigilant men, virtuous women, and learning students. Yours truly, Dr. Yates, the host of Bible Quiz Questions and Comments, is saying thank you for lending a listening ear and for telling others about this program. Shalom, salam, shanti. Wakanda.